All right, we're gonna kind of let some more people come in. I come on just a couple minutes on usually. I'm talking about tech issues. My internet went out just 5 minutes before this call, and I am on my hotspot. So I am praying that we have zero issues. Let's see. We're just waiting for more people to come on. Hello, Richard.
Hello, Bina.
So, Evelyn, if you're able to tell me where you're from, let me know.
Yeah, I live in Marietta, Georgia.
Nice. How'd you hear about this?
I heard about it through Instagram.
I love Instagram. Lovely. And are you a nurse coach? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yes, yeah. So my algorithm is flooded with coaching ads now. I did my certification. I
Oh,
finished it
don't you love
last
that?
July with Nurse Life Coach Academy, and so now
Okay.
I have more bandwidth to try to launch my business. So trying to figure that all out.
Okay. How'd you like the nurse life coach academy? That's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. It was I think it was 6 months of training.
Yeah,
We
it's
did
six,
a lot
seven
of
months. Yep.
practice coaching, and I went to their retreat in the fall in Boone. It
Hmm.
was great to connect with other nurses trying to do the same thing.
Nice. And what's your area's specialty?
Oh, I don't really have a niche. I work part-time for a health work organization doing wellness coaching. Health and wellness is my specialty. I have my certification in diabetes care and education.
Sweet.
And I'm finding that a lot of my clients, majority are midlife women trying to
Hmm.
navigate menopause. So I'm leaning into that as a specialty right now.
Love it. Yeah, menopause is, I don't know if you know this, but in 2027, so in 1 year, we're going to have 1.2 million women in menopause.
Yeah. Yeah. I could probably pull the data somehow from the work I do to see the demographic really is heavy in women between the ages of 40 and 60 going
Yeah,
through midlife, dealing
yeah,
with all the things, weight gain, stress,
yeah,
hormone changes,
yeah.
and feeling dismissed by their providers. There's just such a huge gap in
Huge.
care.
I have worked with now 4 or 5 different women in nurse coaching world that does menopause. And honestly, it's like what I had my ovaries take, like I don't have a uterus. So I was surgically induced at 32 into menopause. And for the ones that are doing now, like you guys, we need more menopause coaches out there. There's
Yes.
1.2 million women. That means 1.2 million men are also going to need that support on how to handle their
Yes.
women.
Yeah, it breaks
Honestly,
my heart. I had a client yesterday in her mid 50s, and she was telling me about her menopause symptoms. And I said, "When was the last time you saw your OBGYN?" And she said, "Oh, I had a total hysterectomy 6 years ago. So they said I'm good. I never have to come back." I said,
biggest,
"Okay,
such a myth. Isn't
let's
that the
talk about
biggest
that."
problem that in healthcare right now? Is they tell you that. They're like, you don't need to see your OBGYN. You don't need babies anymore. And I'm like, we still have human parts, right? I'm like, we still have female
Exactly.
parts,
Like
correct?
you still need your preventive screenings. And then she
Like,
got no hormone therapy.
I had zero
So
hormone therapy too.
yeah,
It
wild.
was horrible. My 30s was horrible. And now that I'm coming back, it's even harder. Hello, Stephanie.
Hi.
Yo. So we need more of you. And if you're going
I
down that
heard
route, commit.
I heard hormone replacement therapy.
I know. It gets us all women, it gets us all like ready to go. We're like, yes, let's go.
Sorry.
Richard, Seth, there's a couple of other gentlemen on this call I see in the background. But hey, but it affects men too. So I really want to make sure people are aware of this when we're talking about hormones. This is not the topic of my day. Evelyn, just to prove your point, it's a hot
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a
hot
team
topic.
effort. Yep.
Yeah, because they don't know why in the middle of the night we're sitting there like fanning ourselves and we're so sweating hot. And they're like, it is cold. And I'm like, it feels great.
Yeah, yeah. I just turned 40, but yeah, me and my husband, we fight about the temperature. I want it cold and it's too cold for him. So
Have you heard of
we
the rest blanket?
no.
Oh my God, I'm gonna send you a link. It's called the Rest Comforter, and it keeps you cool. So if you shake it, it keeps you super cool. But if you don't move, it helps to self-regulate your own body temperature, so it actually
Ooh,
stays warm.
that sounds incredible.
But it's been my kids love my blanket. So actually now I have bought all my kids the exact same blanket because they keep trying to steal mine. Even my husband tries to steal mine now.
Okay, so it works.
It works, yeah. And the cooling technology on this one is probably one of the best ones I've seen. We'll send you a
Thank
link just
you.
because.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have your email, so we'll send you a link on it. But I should be like one of those ambassador commercial people because
Yeah,
it's, it
get
is,
an
like,
affiliate link.
I don't even know if they have one. I should look into it, but it is so worth the money that comes up. Yeah. All right. Please, put the link in here. I'll have to look. If not, I'll send it to you, Stephanie. What I'll do is I can blast it to everybody. Yeah, I saw that. Can I have the link as well? I will email everybody the link. I might have to find an affiliate link and then send it to you guys and then give it back as a raffle for everybody. But I'm telling you, like, it is so worth it. It's so nice. Hello, Kathy. Not sure if she's listening in or not. She might only be listen only because I know a couple of people messaged that they're listening only. All right, we had about 100 people registered for this particular event, so we will see if actually 100 people show up. But the good news is that the ones that are in here now, you guys won't get kicked out because if we do go up to as more people trickle in and we do have the 100, I think Zoom max us out at 100. Everyone else, like now, as of now, everyone else will be able to get in. So we'll see how this goes. Do you guys have any questions or anything before we get started? Before we jump on in? No? Okay. All right, let me pull up my slides. Anyone else have like lovely tech issues? Because I swear we do every time something occurs. So, for the ones that are new to my world, I have really interactive workshops. So, please feel free to say hi, hello, stop me at any time, or just chime in with questions. It's a really interactive for everybody. And then also, if you have any questions or concerns, when the slide deck is up, I really can't see hands. So, just please make sure to raise your hand so I can answer your question. Okay? So, first of all, I just want to say thank you everyone for being here. Today, we're really going to be talking about the CEO mindset. And whether you're thinking about starting a business, whether you have a business, and whether you are at six figures trying to go to seven figures, or you're somewhere in between. The CEO mindset is really where people are going to have that change in revenue. And what do I mean by that? All of us are nurses on this call. We act like nurses on our calls. So shifting from a bedside nurse mindset to a CEO mindset can be very challenging for a lot of us. So that's why today it's really important that I talk to you guys a little bit about the CEO mindset and then how to make a successful business at the same time. How does that sound for everybody? I think a lot of people still on mute. Okay. So, for the people that are still new to me, my name is Bina Bendale. I've been a registered nurse for over 20 years. I'm a wife. I'm a mother of three beautiful children that all have special needs, but I'm also the household manager. How many of you guys feel like you have multiple hats in your field right now? You guys can raise your hand. I can't, yeah, let me see if I can pull this up. Let me see if I can pull. Okay. There you go. Okay, I can see some of your guys. There you go. Okay. So what happened to me was about 4 years ago, this was actually 11 years ago. I was given an ultimatum. When my eldest son, Rohan Bendel, right over here, he was nonverbal when he was born. He was severely globally delayed. And initially, what ended up happening was my job gave me an ultimatum. It was either I continue as a registered nurse or I would have to go into like a different unit or different things or decrease my hours, which, guys, 11 years ago, I was the breadwinner. I was the insurance holder. I was back 11 years ago. Remember, I live here in California. Six figures coming out of school was huge. Like, it was a big deal. So I knew really early on something needed to change because there was no real support for me. And I stepped up and I created that. I created that. But it took me a while to get to where I'm at today. But what I needed in 2020 is what I have built today. And I have two parts to my business, actually, three parts to my business, and they all have grown to multi six. And I really want to emphasize this is because my main reason, my main why are my kids. They are the reason why I have developed everything that I have done. So I want to hear some of your guys' things. Drop in the chat. Like, what is some of your whys? What is some of your whys of whether you want to leave bedside, whether you want to have a successful business? Like, what are some of your like whys of what you want to do? Because that is the first step in creating a profitable business is knowing your why. So if you have the chance of things, I don't know if some of you are on your phone. I don't know if some of you, sometimes people are driving, so be careful. But drop in the chat. Like, what is your why? Because that is the one thing you need with the CEO mindset is to know your why. And while we kind of reach that up, if anyone wants to come off mute and tell me their why, we're more than welcome to. Stephanie, I'm just picking on you because I see you. What's your why?
I guess a better version of myself. And not only that, but when I work with people, then I make them better.
Yeah,
And there is a purpose and
yeah,
it brings me joy.
yeah. Evelyn said in the chat, freedom, be with my kids more as they grow up, travel with them, financial freedom, coaching is fulfilling to me. Absolutely. Jody, hospital care is unrealistic. Unrealistic expectations, unfortunately unsafe. I want to retire, work from home, and raise my grandkids. Do you guys see a common theme amongst all of us? The common theme is the freedom. What does freedom mean for you? And what I'm hearing along with some of these though chats is family. Family is important. How many of us at bedside have missed weekends, birthdays, holidays? Yeah, not having to clock in, not having to clock out. Hi, Zara. Not having to clock in, not having to clock out. How many of us, it's stressful, right? How many of us have left like maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours early to get to work on time? I know I have because of traffic, because I worked like during rush hour, so it sucked. So I'd have to leave about an hour and a half. Yeah, you drove an hour to work. Exactly. So when you're looking at your time compared to, yeah, I leave at 3 a.m. I used to, when I worked day shift, I would have to leave by 5 to get my son to my mom's house by 5:30, 5:45 to drive to work to be on shift by 7. Yeah. So I hear you. It's more tactile than a lot of people think. Yeah, 5 a.m. to 5:30. Yeah. Which people think that might be a dream job, but by the time you get home, dream hours, by the time you get home, how were you fully exhausted?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that is the part that I was stating that we needed a change. There has to be a change. There needs to be a better way for us to communicate. There has to be a better way. Has to be that one to many method. I still can be the most amazing ER nurse and not be in the ER. Because how many of us, okay, another person just wrote, having the freedom to be able to make your own hours, educate both healthcare community and general community. Yeah, right? Freedom is what I'm hearing, which is amazing. Because how many of us want more of that freedom? Which all have stated yes. So, how many of you are aware of the power of decision making? These are choices. Decisions don't come in time. They don't take a lot of time. But it does take courage. How many of you can get really scared about making a decision in life? How many of you are like, I'm not sure. There's all these things going in your stuff. You're like, should I do it? Should I not do it? How many of you guys do that? Maybe, maybe so. Maybe I'll do it later. Maybe I'll do this next week. So decisions, they take courage. It takes time. People think that sometimes things occur overnight. It does not. You need to ask yourself, yeah, the fear of failure, 100%, right? And I'm going to challenge you more, Jody. It's actually not even the fear of failure. A lot of nurses and a lot of healthcare providers or people who are in their journey, they're actually scared of success. What if this actually works? What if people actually say yes to me and I get more powerful yeses than I have more powerful no's? But you need to ask yourself the right questions. You need to be in a situation where you're able to have that energy flow of stating, is this a correct choice or decision for me? Or am I able to say no? How many of us are people pleasers in this room? Just mark in the chat, me, if you're a people pleaser. Just mark in the chat, me. Yeah. If you're a people pleaser, mark in the chat, me, because I know I was the biggest people pleaser in the world. Yeah. Why do you think nurses are one of the biggest people pleasers? Come off mute. Who thinks what? Why? Empathy? You know why we're the biggest people pleasers? It's because society and our bedside has told us to be the biggest people pleaser. Can I get you a glass of water? Can I get you a warm blanket? Can I get you a fluffed up pillow? Can I make that phone call for you? Oh, I'll get that. I'll get the doctor there. Let me get somebody to help you to go to the bathroom. Do you guys see from nursing school, they have trained us to be people pleasers and for us to never say no. Because the minute we say no to somebody at bedside, it becomes a client problem. Like one of those success stories or one of those things called those KPIs. The client, when they mark the scores and it's like a negative score because the nurse said no to you, they're more worried about customer service. Thank you. They're more worried about the customer service reviews than the boundaries of a nurse. So we're now have to dismantle that process, okay? We need to make it where those are, we have to reprogram our brain to remind ourselves it is okay to say no. Customers is the buyer of service. Exactly. We have to be able to be in a world where we can say powerfully no. How many of us in this group right now has a hard time saying no? Just mark in the chat yes or no. How many of you guys have a hard time saying no? Right, it's business, unfortunately. Good. I'm happy that you're getting stronger. Yeah. Saying no is powerful. Powerful. But as nurses, we were trained from bedside never to say no. We've learned that no is a complete sentence. I agree with you, Evelyn, but when was the last time you said no?
To my 4-year-old today.
We have boundaries at home, right? We're able to say no everywhere else, but at work.
Yeah, work-wise, I recently was able to. I was proud of myself when they
Good.
asked if I would be able to work extra hours. And I said no. And I'm lucky. I have a great manager who's very respectful of boundaries. I have a unicorn manager, and she's
Good.
very empowering.
Good. I'm happy. But do you see how if you didn't have a unicorn manager, how many of our charge nurses is like, Bina, I'm just picking the people I see on the thing, Zara, Melinda, hey, we're short on night shift. Are you able to say, can you work just 2 hours? Can you work 4 hours? And all of us are like, oh, but those patients really need us. We really just until night shift, until we can get somebody covered on our shift. Can you please? Please? How many of us heard that? They guilt you to stay. So it's the power of saying no. And it was funny, and maybe not funny, is when I started saying no, especially at bedside, and I started saying no to my managers, I swear to God, the dynamics of my colleagues and me has shifted. I was now the I was now the nurse that nobody liked. I was now the nurse that was like, oh, she's gonna say no anyway, so don't ask for help. It becomes that brutal attack in the middle of it, right? Yeah, they're trained to guilt trip you. So you see a dynamic, and the more you do this in business, the more we say no in business, right? With the CEO mindset, we're also going to see that dynamic shift in relationships. And nurses are not trained for those relationship shifts. We're not. Because we were trained to always be at our best, empathetic, compassion, do this, do that. We were trained that way. So it's really powerful as a CEO is to really realize what is the return of decision. Are we making a short-term choice or a decision, or are we making a long-term choice? And I'm going to go into this a little bit more later in the slides, so this will make more sense to everybody. But I want to kind of plant this in your head. It's just like when somebody, I know this is going to sound, but we're all nurses on here, so I'm going to just kind of state it, okay? It's stating when someone commits suicide, they are solving a short-term problem for a long-term solution. Remember that? It's brutally honest, but it's the brutal honest portion of it. Their world seems so overwhelming in the moment, and they made a short-term decision on a long-term problem. Do you guys understand that? We have to take that same analogy into business. Now, if it's a short-term problem, is this a long-term issue? Are we making choices on something that's only prevalent for 2 or 3 months, or are we making choices that's going to help us in 2 or 3 years? So the return of decision is huge in the CEO mindset, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that in the next couple of slides. So for today, what are you going to learn? The truth is, a lot of us don't have an income problem. You have a model problem. As nurses, I know a lot of people hear this. We can make more money if we choose to make more money. We don't want to sometimes, but we have the choice. I think you have it mixed up. What? Maybe I mixed it up.
Oh,
I am fully dyslexic, Jody. And for the people who don't know me, I am 110% dyslexic, so I may have flipped it.
just to clarify, you said a short-term problem for a long, wouldn't a suicidal person think it was a short-term, it's a long-term fix for a short-term problem because they think it's a long,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
I'm
had,
like, sorry, but I
well,
couldn't get off of
yeah.
that.
No, thank you.
Couldn't
I do
continue. I was
want to
so stuck
remind,
on that.
no, I appreciate you stating that. I want to remind everybody or let everybody know I am 110% dyslexic. So, letters, words, phrases, I mix things up. So, thank you for letting me know that. And thank you for the clarification. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, because you were probably like, wait, did she say something wrong? I
Yeah,
probably did. Yep, that sounds about right. So, the truth that I'm stating is that a lot of us don't have an income problem. We have a model problem. We're trading time for money. We're wasting for permission, or we're waiting for permission. How many of us at bedside have we're waiting for the doctor's orders? Like we're waiting for them to call us back on night shift. We're waiting for them to do things. We're just sitting there going, blah, 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 blah. We can't do anything until the. How many times have we went into patients' rooms and said, I am so sorry. There is nothing I can do. I'm waiting for the doctor to call me back. I know that's happened to me how many times? And then the patients are yelling at us, right? We're capped at an income. I was just telling this to my CNCA members is that when I first started in 2006 as a nurse, I was a very young nurse. I was like 24 or something. I was making without differential pay and without night shift differential, without any of that. I started out at about $78 an hour. When I chose to quit, do you guys know what my dollar rate was? Just take a wild guess. 125? Uh-uh. That was with differential. No. My base pay, I was 78, was $85. That's with the all these 1% raises, all these other stuff. $85. So my income was capped. It went higher when I worked per diem. Yep. My income was higher when I did a night shift differential. My income was higher when I had PM shift differential, because then it's whatever the 10 or so. It was higher when I had that whoopty $1 or $2 of charge nurse differential. But yeah, it's a tough decision to leave because you feel that you are capped at a level. And what I want you to learn is how nurses can get paid outside of bedside. I want you to learn today the CEO mindset. This is real shit. This is not fluff. I'm giving you guys real-time examples of my own life and what actually it takes to make money, to have the admin, and to have the structure. Because how many of you are like that are still at bedside? How many of you are still really scared to leave? And I'm not even telling you to leave. That's not the intent of this call. Like, how many of you would be scared to leave? Like, just put in the chat, yes or no. Oh, you guys, I had a hole. Yeah, you're scared. Thank you for being honest, Stephanie. I appreciate that. The benefits, insurance, 100%, right? Now, how many of you, if I can tell you, I'm making more money at work where I live? Yeah, exactly. I also need the insurance, 100%. Absolutely. And these are real life problems, not even something that comes in. I needed insurance when I left. Luckily, I was able to have my husband's insurance of why I was able to leave, but 110%. But if we're able to shift our mindset, if we're able to make a profitable business, we're actually able to get insurance, and actually it's a tax write-off, which we're going to talk about a little bit too today. Okay. So just a little bit about me. I created a nurse-led employee assistant program. So 11 years ago, when my son was born, they sent me to an employee assistant program, the EAP system. And y'all, they had no idea what to do with me. They're like, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a nurse, I'm a mom, I have a kid with special needs, I'm postpartum. What do you mean you don't know what to do with me? They didn't know what to do with me. They actually dismissed me. They sent me to a therapist, and this therapist, I didn't have the therapist until maybe 2 or 3 months later, anyways. So what I've learned is that there's really no real help out there. So I co-created one. And now I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm in now over 8 different organizations nationwide. And they're using us as an employee assistant program instead. Because how many of us nurses knows what it takes? We have real life experiences. So I co-created one. On top of that, I also co-created the Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator. The Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator is also a place where I help entrepreneurs, healthcare providers, nurses, nurse coaches build a profitable business at the same time. Not telling you to leave your jobs. All I'm saying is you're able have the passive income until your business is able to meet your income and then start decreasing your hospital demand. I'm not telling anyone on this call to quit. Okay? All I'm saying is let's build your business up to a level where it's meeting your hospital demands, and then let's get you being part-time per diem and then feeling the comfortability of being able to let go. How many of you guys would love that? Let's put it in the comment when you're ready. How many of you guys would love that? Yeah. Thank you, Evelyn. Yeah, exactly. Right? So, what I was stating earlier is nurses and healthcare providers are trained to follow systems, wait for direction, and avoid risk. Everything I just said to every one of you will kill a business growth. Does that surprise you guys? Yeah or no? I'm looking at the chat now. Does that surprise you or no? No? So employees ask, what shift can you pick up? A CEO asks, where is my value? Yeah, nurses are generally trained 100%. Exactly. That's why That's why it's really important to hire a really good business coach or someone that can help support that. And the CEO here will ask, yeah, we're good rule followers. You guys are. It is true. That's why I love working with nurses is because you guys follow directions. You guys are good at, okay, what do I do? It's like throwing a dog a bone. It's like I throw a dog a ball, you go fetch it, and then you come back and you're like, okay, now what? What's next? I throw it again at somebody, and then I come back. Oof, yes, I love this. What's next? So it's nice to see that. So yeah, nurses are really good rule followers, 100%. So let's actually talk about what builds a profitable business. So in CNCA, we teach 5 core pillars, and everything I do lies in these 5 pillars. And this is how I even run my entire life. Okay. The first one is on clarity. What clear offer, not even offer, what is your goal? What do you want in life? Where do you want to be in the next 2 to 3 years? Curiosity. Where are you want to be? Curiosity comes with what if I go talk to this person? And what happens if I go here? Once we are clear with what we want to co-create, the curiosity comes naturally. But a lot of the times people get really stuck in the curiosity side, which then leads to the courage to ask that client for the 30K offer, the courage to really give somebody that base, and to remind everybody to have a conversation. Everything starts with a conversation. What's some of the things you guys do? I'm just curious. What are some of the things that you guys do when you meet somebody new? Like, what's the first thing you guys say to people? You can either write in the chat or come off mute. A lot of the times people are going to say hi, hello, how are you? Conversation. It's a conversation builder. So in business, it's the exact same thing. I want people to remind them that it's all about conversations. What's the most exciting thing you have done today? Exactly. Right. And the fifth pillar, which is the most important, authenticity. Be your complete true self. That is where your business is going to grow. In 2026, and I've said this on some of my Facebook things, you'll hear me say this all the time. It's all about your story. It's all about who you are. It's all about the relatability for your clients. So the part that no one talks about.
I stood at the door.
Huh? What was
That
that?
was an accident.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. So the part nobody talks about. When you become a CEO, you now have to think about taxes, admin, time allocation, business structure. This is one of the main reasons why nurses are there. This is the part that I teach solely on. It's because these are the parts that people are like, I don't even know where to start. How many of you guys really truly know where to start in this group? If you're really starting out, like, do you know where to start? Sorry, my eyes are going a little crossed. A lot of the times people don't. Life will always be busy. Yeah, I did not. I would love if I did, I would have. Exactly. If you knew where to start, you would have already been a millionaire. Like you've already had a successful business. Things would have flowed to you. That's what I tell people. Like this is the reality of it. The other reality that I want everyone to hear me when I say life will always be busy. Kids, bills, the unexpected. I had no idea. Luckily, my husband went through the process of starting his LLC several years ago, walked me through some of the steps, still haven't filed yet, but I'm procrastinating with all the paperwork, right? Yes, procrastination, that's a big one, right? I want you to realize that and for you, Evelyn, there's no ever a perfect time. I want to encourage you just to get it done. The CEO mindset is really just building it anyways. You're welcome. Building it anyways. There's no perfect time. People always think, I'm going to wait till the summer. because the kids are out in the summer. I'm going to wait till after the holidays because now it's the holidays. I'm going to do it January 1st because now it's game time for all of us. And then January 1st comes and then you realize you're like, you know what? I just spent way too much money in Christmas and now I have I have zero money because I need to recoup of what we've done for the holidays. This is the same cycle I hear every single year over the past 5 years. So there's never a perfect time. All I tell people is that if you have the bandwidth and if you have the mindset for it, jump in. It's just like jumping in the deep end and let me or one of my staff members help you float you to the top because that's what we're good at. So going back to this, is how many of you are uncomfortable to start a business at the moment? How many of you are like uncomfortable or they're scared? How many of you are scared? Let me ask that. Because I get that asked, I get that a lot. I'm just scared, which I was scared to come on this call. Nervous. Yeah. Who else? Imposter syndrome feels like also the real thing, filling out the paperwork, filling out, yeah, a lot of paper. No idea how much it'll take to land. Yeah. What does it say? I have no idea how much I will make. Yeah, I can that 100%. But what if I can tell you that those are all short-term thought processes today? And the long-term growth is you will get consistent clients. So what happens if you don't act now? Knowing that this is a normal feeling to have. How many of us, there's some people in my CNC call even now, how many of you guys still feel like that? Because sometimes I still feel like that. What's the real risk of, yeah, totally right. You're just gonna, exactly, Jody. All you're doing is waiting and waiting, but the problem is still going to be there. And it's a mindset issue, right? So decisions create momentum. So if you choose to do it now, then you're going to get a you're going to get a paid client now. You're going to get more paid clients now. It builds it because you're putting yourself first. And this is where we really want to talk about your energy. Is your energy with focus? Where are your energy leaks? And the energy leaks are the imposter syndrome. Nope, I'll wait till next year. Nope, I'll wait for my tax return money. I'll wait for this. I'll wait for that. I'll wait. It's a lot of the times what I hear, which is totally fine. Some people have real out like you know your life better. I'm not here to judge any one of you with your life. All I'm stating is that a $10,000 choice. Are you losing money at the end of the day? Right? Or is this $10 task, or is this a $10,000 choice? If you choose wisely, and if you're like, I'm going to do the $10,000 choice, energy and currency, they flow together. And so then you want to go into the energy leaks. Where else are you leaking? And I train more about this particular money trauma institution part in CNCA because a lot of us nurses and nurse coaches or in healthcare providers, what happens is because we were capped at a certain amount that we show up regardless of what we do. But how many of you on this call, if your paycheck was incorrect, how many of you would go tell your manager right away? Yeah, 100%. Same thing when it comes to the business. It's the same mentality. So CEO thoughts, CEO results. How many of us just kind of state, oh, I'm just a nurse? If you state that, or if you're seeing that, I want you to delete that from your programming. I want you to replace it with I solve problems, organizations, or people, or whatever word you want to replace organizations will pay for. Because that beliefs aligns with your future self. And the minute you are able to see the possibility, then you are able to implement moving that. But if you don't see that there is a problem, that knowing that there is this actual belief, then it's really hard to implement. Does that make sense to people? Or do I need to repeat that? I'm like having a hard time. I usually have two screens and I don't have my second screen thing today, so it tracks. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And what I really want for all of you is to trust the process. If you don't hear anything from this presentation, I don't want you to overcomplicate it. I want you to stay out of your head. If you're ready, you already have the skills from bedside. You just need to implement that into the business world. And if you follow these steps and stay consistent, I guarantee you that you will build a profitable business. You just have to put your nursing skills into a business model. How would that feel for some of you? You know, awesome. Now we're gonna put in the chat a link. I'm gonna stop my screen sharing. What's some of the biggest takeaways from you guys today? You guys can come off mute. I'm not, no, I'm not. You guys can come off mute and chat. Ev uh, Evelyn, what's one of the biggest takeaways for you today? Just giving a serpent care to more. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Jody, how about you? I feel empowered. Awesome. Encouragement and showing up. Thank you. Melinda?
Life is always gonna life, and there's not gonna be any perfect time. So do it now.
Yeah. Now, for the people that are in here, there is a calendar link in below. I would love to schedule a deep dive just to go deeper into what is holding you back, or how can I support you into building a profitable business? Because a lot of the times it's you want to be in a group filled with people that are going to empower you and not make you feel judged, incapable. I'm not sure what's going on. You want to be in a room filled with men and women that are going through the same thing and are having similar beliefs, and to help you get to the other side. So if you haven't booked it, and he just placed it into the calendar link, I would love to see all of you guys on a call. And do you have any other questions? Anything else? Anyone else have any questions or things you want to ask me right now? I don't know if Evelyn or Jody or who's this? Tiffany? Yeah. I know sometimes people, Kathy, I don't know if I think she's listening in.
Can I
Um,
ask a question?
yeah, absolutely.
So are you, is this starting a business as what you do, like to be a coach for hospitals to help other nurses and other hospital staff to deal with what their stressors are
Mm,
at work? Is
no,
that right?
it
Nope.
is
Okay.
to build your dream job.
So
Thank
then
you.
this, I would be applicable for being a cancer coach, which I do. I'm
100%.
a functional medicine and cancer coach. So I
100%.
already have that background, but I didn't start it. So then you would help us start our own business and as a
Yep.
coach. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. We actually have a person in the community that is already a cancer coach.
Oh,
So, yeah, that's the beauty of the community is being with like-minded people so you can see the possibilities of whatever it is that you want to co-create. I'm just sharing you what I have done in my world, right? But what you want to co-create is what you want to co-create.
wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So does it matter that that we're in a different state?
doesn't
When,
matter.
okay.
Doesn't matter. Because every state's different, everyone's different, but you have to remind yourself that the business side of things is the exact same nationwide. No? Thank you for asking that question. I appreciate you answering that. Thank you for the
Yeah, thank you.
clarification. You're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any other questions? How about you, Jody?
Me. That was me. But I have another
Oh,
one. How many people have you helped so far? Like how many people are starting businesses and are they like
how many nurse coaches are out there? There's over
yeah,
70,000 nurse coaches out there.
goodness.
I have now helped over five to 600.
Wow.
Yeah. And more are coming out more and more. I believe it's Evelyn, correct? She just came out from the Nurse Life Academy. So there's more coaches coming out every single day. Yeah. Evelyn, do you have any other questions or concerns before we head out?
Yeah, I'm just curious. I can qualify to take the board certification to be a board certified nurse coach, but I'm not sure. I started to fill out the application and I have to go dig up old college transcripts and I'm like, forget this. I can still coach without it, but I'm just curious
Yeah.
how worth it and important is it to get those letters behind our name.
It's up to you. It's an identity. It's honestly an identity. It's what you want as your identity. I think you have up to 3 years after you get any other course to get those credentials. And I know people who have made a very successful business without having those letters behind their names. Then I've also had people that waited about 2 years. They took the boards, they built their entire business first, and then they became board certified. So it's really on what you want to do and what you want to co-create and how fast. It's not going to stop your momentum of building a profitable business, if that helps.
Yeah, yeah, that helps.
Yeah. I'm like, it won't stop you for building it. No, not at all. Because remember, there's a lot of coaches out there that are making multi-million without, and they just have like a high school diploma.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I'm on Instagram a lot. And
Good.
so, how do we differentiate ourselves? We're nurses. We have a lot of person-to-person experience, and there's so
Mhm.
many people that can call themselves coaches, and they're killing it out there.
That is the storytelling. That is where we really talk about in our stories, storytelling. That's actually one of the big things that I teach in the Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator is how do you stand out? How does your messaging stand out from the crowd that your post makes people come to you organically? It's all in your story. Was that helpful?
Yes, yes, because I'm a homebody, so I'm like, how can I attract clients just through social media instead of being out in the community? I don't get out too
Yeah.
much.
No, and that's totally fine. If you want to build your entire, and I know so many people that have built their entire business on social media, actually using Instagram. It's just how you portray it. What is your brand? So that's one of the big things we learn about in the Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator is how to brand yourself. And those are
Okay.
deep dives. Those are deep information that once you get on the calls, like we go over a lot of that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm seeing that just because somebody has a viral post doesn't mean they're going to have tons of clients. And
Exactly.
yeah,
It's the consistency that matters.
okay,
So
that
it's
helps.
consistent over time. So you can have one viral post, that's great. But then what's going to happen is the algorithm, if you're not still putting that, whatever made that content that made you go viral, I would tell you do that more of that style, that language,
Mm,
correct? Then we would
yeah,
do more of that. But we'd
I'm
have
not
to
even
be
close to
consistent.
that yet. Yeah,
Yes.
have no viral content yet.
And that's where it's the messaging, right? That's where it's if we're specifically talking around menopause, what are we stating? There's a whole framework that I just taught my Corporate Nurse Coach Accelerator clients about how to have a very successful posting, how to message correctly. And I just encouraged all my clients to do this over the past like 2 or 3 days. And we've had people who've never posted a video before get up to 1,000 to 1,500 views
And
just
how
because of
many
the framework I
clients
taught them.
did they
They
get
all,
from those?
this has just happened over the past 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
Like they just
Okay.
posted, right? And now it's the conversion rates. Now we see, because this is their first time posting or doing something of this type of engagement, right? And this one girl, she got 1,500 views. And she's like, now what? Now we need to make more of those. Because now
Hmm.
people are watching you. I've had people
Yeah.
come to me and they've been watching me on social media. I've never met them before in my life. They've never liked a post, they've never commented on a post, but they were watching me. And about five of my clients have came from that. They came
Okay.
on some of my calls and they go, I'm ready to work with you now.
Awesome.
And I've never seen them on any of my posts. I've never seen interacted with them. It comes in, they go, no, we just been silently watching you. So a lot of the times it doesn't
Yeah.
matter about like comments and things. People, when they're ready to do it, they're gonna go.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
either one post or one comment or one thing that will push them over the edge to be like, I'm just using you as an example, be like, I'm ready to go. I saw Evelyn's post. I want to work with her now.
Yeah. That would be the dream.
And that's what we teach. That's what I teach you. So we
Awesome. Yeah.
really want to get that part going. So I would love to talk to you more. Book a call with me. I do have a
Yeah.
couple
I'll
of
book a
spots
call.
open. Yeah, book a
Perfect.
call with
Thank
me because then we can
you.
go through it more. Because this is where everyone struggles. It's like I tell people this all the time, and I'll be very honest with everybody here. We're not looking for viral shit. That's not our intention. At least that's not mine. My intention is to showcase what I love and to really serve and to do exactly what I love to do. Correct? And that comes from all my posts, all what I do, everything that happens to what we're having. But the more I talk about my kids, those posts go viral because people want to see the behind the scenes. People like to see me struggle. People like that. It's fine. Quote unquote being successful, but people are like, if I put more stuff about like strategy, Evelyn, I promise you, like those posts go like maybe 100, 200 to 300 views. The minute I throw my kids involved in that and I talk about how I'm a mom, how I'm struggling, how I spring break and I'm booked this call for spring break, that was challenging. It's still challenging, right? I had to make sure childcare was there. I had to make sure the dinner was ready. I had to make sure, and my nanny called in sick. So I was like, okay, this is great. 5 minutes before this call, my internet goes out. I'm like, okay, all right, this is amazing. But people like to hear that because it makes me relatable. I'm not, what do you call it when you have a bubble? It's like you can pop the bubble and you don't know who's in it. If you pop my bubble, I'm the still same Bina. Is that helpful, Evelyn?
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Just being authentic and relatable. It really works.
Yeah. And the more I try to be like businessy or whatever people want to call it, I'm the most unprofessional person you'll ever meet in your life. Yet I'm supposedly one of the most successful people out there. And Stephanie's laughing because she's like, yep, that sounds about right. I'm the most unprofessional person out there. But that's just me because you want to keep your relationship with you. Remember, I want to tell you guys all this is that when you're going into coaching, when you're going into entrepreneurship, this is a spiritual journey. I'm not talking about religion or any of that, okay? It is you yourself and who are you becoming? Who are you leaving behind? Because we're all leaving behind that shift of being at bedside, being told what to do every single day to now, what are you telling me? Like that first 6 months when I first started, I'm like, what do you mean I don't have to clock in? I still woke up. I'm like, I'm gonna clock in. I'm like, where am I going? So it's also it's a huge identity shift. Evelyn, if you haven't had the chance, please book so we can talk more. Now,
Yes. I'm on it.
awesome. I do want to make sure. Sorry, I have to leave. Yeah, I know. I want to make sure that I do want to respect everybody's time. It is on the top of the hour. So I want to say thank you for everybody that came. Tiffany, I'm not sure if you're able to come off mute or not, but she might just be like, in. But thank you everyone for coming. and I will see you guys all next time.